Stoicism against criticism and rejection. How to be unshakable with ancient wisdom. Have you ever held back from being yourself because you feared judgment? Have you stayed silent after failing, not because you lacked words, but because you feared what others would say? Criticism stings, rejection wounds, and the fear of failure often cages us in lives we don't fully live. But what if I told you there is a philosophy that teaches you how to stop depending on the approval of others? A way of thinking that helps you become your own judge, so that outside opinions lose their power to paralyze. That's what Stoicism offers. In this video, we'll explore how Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca faced public judgment, failure, and harsh criticism without losing their calm, dignity, or purpose. You'll learn how to quiet the inner critic, why rejection doesn't define your worth, and how to transform the fear of failure into courageous action. This video isn't about hiding from the world. It's about building a mind so firm that nothing from the outside can shake it. 1. The illusion of approval. Why we stay trapped by others' opinions. From a young age, we're conditioned to seek approval. A compliment fuels us. A criticism wounds us. We grow up chasing validation, as if our worth depends on how others perceive us. Epictetus was blunt. If you want to improve, be prepared to be laughed at. For the Stoic, criticism is inevitable. You can do everything right and still be judged. You can fail and be mocked. You can succeed and still face envy. So why live in fear of it? Stoicism invites us to break this illusion. What others think of you doesn't define who you are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control what people say, but you can control how much power you give their words, and that changes everything. The Stoic asks, does this criticism help me grow, or just provoke me? If it helps, absorb it humbly. If not, discard it calmly. The goal is not to avoid criticism. It's to grow so strong within that it no longer diminishes you. 2. Rejection is not defeat. It's the reality of those who dare rejection hurts. Not because it breaks us, but because it exposes where we've placed our worth, in others, in outcomes, in the validation we hoped for. Seneca wrote, "He who fears failure has already failed." Here's the truth, and it's liberating. Anyone who takes action will face rejection, not because they're unworthy, but because they dared to show up. Stoicism teaches us that rejection is not a verdict on your value, but a reflection of circumstance, of others' opinions, projections, and limitations. Most importantly, it lies outside your control. You can't control whether you're liked, but you can control the courage to act even when you're not. Stoics didn't avoid rejection. They accepted it as part of the path. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be invincible, don't fight every battle." In other words, don't tie your self-worth to applause. The true Stoic does what is right and accepts whatever follows. Criticism, silence, closed doors. Rejection isn't the end. It's just a step. And those who understand that, move forward. 3. The fear of failure is worse than failure itself. Have you noticed how often the fear of failing feels heavier than failure itself? Long before anything happens, your mind plays out every possible judgment, every imagined humiliation, every worst-case scenario. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it is foolish to be afraid of what has not yet happened. The Stoic knows, failure is not the enemy. Fear is. Those who fear failure avoid life. Those who accept failure grow from it. The real issue lies in our distorted perception. We believe that failing says something about who we are. But in Stoic thought, what defines us is how we respond to failure. Fall, rise with dignity. Make a mistake, learn with resolve. Get criticized, stay the course. Fear of failure is a prison built by thoughts that aren't even real. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The more you avoid failure, the more power it gains over your mind. But the moment you face it, with reason, it shrinks. Failure is not your enemy. Standing still is. Stoicism doesn't promise a life without mistakes. It gives you the posture to rise after every fall. 4. True freedom means you don't have to defend yourself. When someone criticizes you, the instinct is to explain, to justify, to defend yourself. But is that always necessary? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's true, accept it. If it's false, ignore it." It's simple and powerful. Stoicism teaches us that not every opinion deserves a response. You are not here to convince everyone. You are here to live with integrity. Replying to everything drains your energy. Constantly defending yourself weakens your spirit. Trying to prove your worth to someone who already misjudged you is a losing game. The true Stoic is not arrogant, but centered. They listen, reflect, and respond only when it's useful. Epictetus said, "If someone calls you a fool, and you are not, why be upset?" Criticism only hurts when you believe it, or when you're unsure of who you are. The Stoic path is this: you don't owe everyone an explanation. If the critique is helpful, use it. If it's noise, let it pass. Silence is not weakness, it's controlled strength, and often silence is the wisest response you can offer. 5. You are not your image. Separate ego from essence. Much of our fear of criticism and rejection comes from confusing who we are with how we re-perceived. We cling to image, reputation, the version of ourselves we hope others will accept. And when that image is threatened, we feel as though our identity is under attack. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, fame is a breath of wind, and other people's opinions are drifting smoke. The truth is simple. You are not your image. You are your essence. Images change, opinions shift, but your essence, your values, your character, your actions, that's what endures. Stoicism teaches us to live from the inside out, not from the outside in. To shape our identity, not by the crowd's approval, but by virtue, reason, and truth. Epictetus said, "As long as you need approval, you are a slave to others' expectations." When you detach from the obsession with appearing, you gain the freedom to simply be authentic, calm, and steady. Criticism won't shake you when your identity isn't built on applause. You become untouchable, not through arrogance, but by building something stronger than appearance: consistency. 6. Criticism is a test, not a sentence. Every time you're criticized, a Stoic choice appears before you. React like someone under attack, or respond like someone being tested. Epictetus said, "Circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him to himself." To the Stoic, criticism is not a verdict, and it's a practice. It's a moment to observe your emotions, to test your clarity, to strengthen your inner discipline. Even unfair criticism loses its weight once you stop seeing it as a personal attack and start using it as training. Marcus Aurelius treated insults like exercises. He used them to develop patience, focus, and emotional restraint. You can do the same. This doesn't mean ignoring everything. It means choosing what deserves your attention and what deserves your silence. You are under construction, and criticism is like a stone thrown your way. Some stones are useful. Build with them. Others are just noise. Step aside. The Stoic strength is not in being numb. It's in becoming so well-grounded that nothing outside can shake what's within. And like any strength, it's built through discomfort. 7. The only opinion that matters is your reason. We live surrounded by voices. Some demand, some judge, some diminish. And too often, we confuse those voices for truth. But Stoicism asks, whose voice are you listening to? The world's or your own reason? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. The source of strength lies there." Society values applause. Stoics value alignment between thought, action, and principle. Act with justice, think with clarity, live with courage, even when no one applauds. Epictetus said, "Don't strive to be admired, strive to be virtuous." Public opinion changes with the wind, but a trained mind stands firm. Today they may cheer, tomorrow they may turn. But what truly matters is who you know yourself to be, even in silence. That is real freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to not need anyone to feel whole. The only approval that should guide your life is the voice of your conscience. If you live with truth, no rejection can take your peace. The Stoic doesn't aim to please. The Stoic aims to act with integrity. And those who do, sleep well, even when misunderstood. 8. Other people's judgments are broken mirrors. When someone judges you, what does it really reveal? More often than not, it says more about them than it does about you. Seneca put it plainly. Someone's opinion is only that, an opinion. And opinions, by nature, are fragile. They change with mood, ego, and ignorance. Stoicism teaches us to see judgment as a broken mirror. It reflects something, but always in a distorted way. If you try to define yourself by it, your view will always be flawed. Wisdom lies in knowing your value before anyone tries to measure it. The Stoic doesn't ignore criticism, but they know how to filter it. If the judgment holds truth, they use it. If it's empty noise, they let it pass. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes invincible when it stops caring about what is outside its control. You don't control what others think, but you do control how much space you give their opinions in your mind. Every judgment you don't internalize brings you closer to inner freedom. You don't need to change who you are to be accepted. You only need to anchor who you are, so you were not lost in someone else's perception. 9. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. Many believe Stoics were cold, emotionless, untouchable. But that's a misconception. They didn't deny fear. They simply refused to be ruled by it. Epictetus said, "Freedom begins the moment you stop worrying about things outside your control." And the fear of criticism, rejection, or failure, that fear lives precisely where you have no control. To be Stoic is not to hide from life, it's to stand firm in front of it, even when trembling inside. You will be judged. You will make mistakes. You will be misunderstood. So what? Stoicism teaches us that real courage is doing what's right even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one claps, even when you fail trying, because those who spend their lives hiding from pain also hide from their own greatness. The Stoic knows there is no growth without exposure, no resilience without risk, no strength without effort. So if you want to grow stronger, don't hide. Show up, speak, try, fail, rise again. Shame fades. Freedom remains. 10. Being unshakable doesn't mean being cold. It means being grounded. True Stoic strength doesn't come from becoming numb. It comes from building an inner foundation the world can't shake. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by pressure and constant criticism, wrote, "If it's bearable, endure it. If it's not, move on, with dignity." That's the essence. It's not about becoming stone. It's about becoming so stable inside that nothing outside can break you. This kind of resilience isn't born overnight. It's built through discipline, through reflection, through daily decisions, choosing reason over impulse, clarity over noise, courage over fear. You won't become unshakable because the world stops testing you. You'll become unshakable because you no longer let every test break you. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of standing in the world. And the world will throw challenges, criticism, failure, loss. But it will also offer meaning, growth, and strength. The real victory isn't being admired by everyone, it's walking with peace, even when misunderstood by many. If this video helped you see criticism, rejection, and failure in a new light, just wait until you discover how the Stoics dealt with something even harder. Loss. Loss of people. Loss of opportunities. The kind of change that arrives without warning and shakes everything. In our next episode, we'll explore how Stoicism prepares us for impermanence and why the ancient sages believed that accepting what ends is one of the greatest acts of wisdom. Get ready to face the fear no one wants to talk about and walk away with more clarity, strength, and peace of mind. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because your Stoic journey is only just beginning, and the next lesson might just change everything.